I'm excited. I'm excited. You know, I love movies. I love music. Who doesn't love the arts? And one guy comes in regularly. He's a writer. He's a creator. You can find him across social media as the Culture Blaster, they call him. Are you always the Culture Blaster or sometimes just Culture Blaster? Yeah, okay. All right. Well, we'll talk to you in a minute. He comes and goes on a rainbow. He's the great Michael Snyder, everybody.
Mark, in your case, you can call me Mr. Blaster. Hi, Mark.
Are you
hi, buddy. Good to see you. I'm
social media, are you the Culture Blaster?
No, I am not. I am at Culture Blaster.
Okay.
No article, except, of course, the myriad articles I've written.
Yes.
Kim,
just
how
Culture
are
Blaster,
you?
okay.
Albert, hello.
Yes. All right.
Hi, lovely audience. You know, honestly, after listening to Spencer Christian, I'll be straight with you. I am a little concerned about Hurricane Hillary making landfall in California this weekend, but on the positive side, Donald Trump has offered a solution: lock her up. As soon as he heard, as soon as he heard Hillary, he figured, you know, we're fine.
Yeah.
So, you know, I make the rounds, buddy. Earlier this week, I was in Glendale, California, at a party to celebrate the new location of Analoger. That's analog with a little R at the end. And that place is, I guess you'd call it a music equipment store. And they have an amazing collection of memorabilia, including vintage instruments, audio gear, clothing, set lists, photos, the whole deal. So I'm there. I'm starting to check out the collection. It's Phil Spector's keyboard.
Wow.
How do you know? The scent of gunpowder.
How dare you? How dare you? How dare you make light of that?
There were all sorts of things.
What?
I mean, was any of Phil Spector's stuff actually on sale?
Yeah. Well, yeah. You could get his keyboard.
How much was his keyboard priced at?
I am not in that market. I can't even.
You didn't even bother to ask how much Phil Spector's keyboard is?
I worry about the cost of a cappuccino, man. I'm not thinking about buying Phil Spector's keyboard.
It's not a question of you buying it. It's a question of information.
It was amazing.
Oh my
They
God.
had.
Why are you yelling?
They had George Harrison's sleek Beatles-era suit, John Lennon's red house coat, Elton John's 1974 tour jumpsuit. Ew, it was so nice. Some guitars that belonged to Eric Clapton, $1 million plus worth of guitars. And here's the truth. If you touch one of Clapton's guitars, you're suddenly an anti-vaxxer. It's amazing.
Oh, my God.
There's never been anything like this.
Yes.
And this is their new hoax.
No, I'm not kidding. Anyway, it's really cool. If you're interested in their collection and you have the cash and what have you, you can find out a little bit about them by going to info@analoger.com. That's
I am interested in it.
ANALOGR.com.
Albert, I think it's about time you send me and buy me a gift, if I can say that. I think maybe this would be
That's real.
I think Phil Spector's keyboard would be a great thing to have.
If you get George Harrison's suit back from their touring days, you have to have it dry cleaned to get the scent of pheromones off of it. Those teenage girls, oh my God.
It was strong back then.
There's a reason
this place is fun. That's right. All right.
Back in the day. Shall we talk movies?
Please.
Mark Thompson. Okay.
Michael, as it's quickly... I see. Okay, good. They know. No, please. So, Michael, what do you have for us on movies?
Just what we needed. Another summertime superhero movie. Oh my God, they keep coming. And another one from DC Comics via Warner Brothers or vice versa, especially in the aftermath of the frantic, messy, and unsatisfying release of The Flash from the same corporate beast. But surprise, Blue Beetle is actually good. In fact, as DC and Warner's movies go, this is one of the better ones, and it offers representation with its hero and his family that reflects the current comic book iteration of a character who has actually been... You don't know Blue Beetle?
I don't know Blue Beetle.
This character
iteration is a ding word.
This character has been around in a couple of earlier forms since 1939.
Wow.
The original Blue Beetle, Dan Garrett, got enhanced crime-fighting abilities back then by drinking a vitamin potion. I was like, I've been taking my multivitamins.
It's a wild idea.
Ooh, it's a wild idea.
Eventually,
Just
he would get superpowers from a mystical scarab when he was revived in the mid-1960s by Charlton Comics. Then tech whiz Ted Kord, who was Garrett's protege, took the mantle of the character.
Proteges it anyway.
And the character shortly thereafter moved over to DC Comics until until 2006. when young Jaime Reyes, we'll call him Jaime. Let's get the pronunciation proper here. Jaime Reyes, it looks like Jamie, a Mexican-American teenager bonded against his will with a blue scarab from outer space to become the third and most recent version of
Blue Beetle. Now, but when you say bonded with, I mean,
It gets-
like the fly bonded?
Yeah, well, kind of. This scarab attaches itself to the kid.
Wow.
You know David Cronenberg's movies? This movie, The Blue Beetle, has some body horror moments. So
Wow.
I'll warn you right here and
All
now
right,
about that.
go ahead, yeah.
Anyway, so Jaime's the one the new movie's all about, and compared to The Flash and other DC movies connected to the company's first attempt to do kind of a Marvel-style cinematic universe, Blue Beetle is telling a comparatively simple story with little excess baggage of other heroes and previous story arcs. Here, Jaime, who is, by the way, played by a genuine find, Xolo Maridueña. This guy's in his early 20s, Jaime, and the first of his close-knit, unabashedly ethnic family to graduate from university. So armed with his diploma, Jaime comes home to his rundown Latino neighborhood in otherwise fancy, high-tech Palmyra City, embraces his loving mother and dad, his keen-minded grandma, abuela, I guess is what you would say.
Abuela, sure.
His snarky younger sister and his boisterous uncle, and he learns they're about to be evicted. So finding it impossible to convert his degree into a decent paying job. We've heard this issue before. Jaime instead takes on work as a pool boy at the mansion of mega corporation CEO Victoria Cord, the sister of the missing Ted Cord, the former Blue Beetle.
Oh, sure.
And she's the villainess of the tale, and she's played by Susan Sarandon. And this is the quintessential greed is good, autocratic megalomaniac. So Victoria is evicting the Reyes family just to solidify her evil bona fides, I think, just for the hell of it.
No, bona fides.
Anyway, her real focus is harnessing the power of an alien artifact, the Scarab, to create super soldiers and cash in on government contracts. So, through a set of circumstances triggered by Ted Cord's humanitarian-minded daughter, who detests her Aunt Victoria, Jaime bonds with the Scarab painfully, like I was saying a little earlier.
I see. It wasn't a wanted bond
No,
necessarily.
the craziness ramps up, and he can make a costume of protective armor, materialize, form energy blasts and shields, and fly. And of course, Victoria wants the Scarab back and sends her troops after Jaime's family, and her hyper-strong bodyguard is sent after the new Blue Beetle. So Maridueña is pretty perfect as Jaime, who reluctantly finds himself with superpowers that at first seem more like a curse than a blessing. He leans on boyish charm, this young actor, a nobility of purpose that doesn't come off as heavy-handed, and he's got a lot of love for his people. And in this case, the move to representation really enhances the project with a group of lesser-known but very talented Hispanic actors, some who have had careers in Mexican film and telenovelas and are now given a mainstreamy forum to show off their dramatic and comedic skills, their culture, their likability. You know, there's a sort of ringer here, though, playing a member of Jaime's family, and that's comedian and sitcom vet George Lopez as Jaime's funny, loyal, and conspiracy-obsessed and mechanically skilled, that comes in handy, Uncle Rudy, who's got this barrio hipster vibe, and it lightens,
that's kind of cool.
Lightens every scene he's in. The Latin vibe itself is exhilarating throughout, and it's enhanced by the actors and lively, tuneful needle drops. And, you know, director Angel Manuel Soto clearly connected with the character and the idea of the Reyes family being one of Jaime's superpowers. They all come to support him at any given opportunity. And even the requisite climactic CGI battle doesn't kill the good vibes of Blue Beetle. I was still all like, Viva la Resistance! So anyway, there is a solid standalone here. It delivers a good origin story, fantastical comic book action, some breezy humor, and that family warmth. And it never seems to be using its Latin American aspects in a gratuitous or gimmicky way. Genuine respect for the culture.
Gratuitous.
And the community, and this thing is as brightly hued as a, playground mural in the inner city. It's got that kind of crackle. Anyway, I like
That's
Beetle.
great. And it sounds like you don't need to have seen anything else or known any story, a backstory, to be able to jump right into this.
You don't. But some people will think of it, it's another boilerplate superhero movie, but it's done right, which is really the benefit.
Wow, and you are a superhero, you're a comic book nerd guy. So
thanks.
Tom, I mean that in a good way. Tom says, Megalomania, and I missed that. And requisite is a ding word, Tom
Yeah.
says.
If you say so, Tom. Look, I'm not particularly a dog lover. I'll admit it. And I'm not a fan of scatological humor, yet I found
Scatological.
myself really enjoying and sporadically laughing at Strays.
Sporadically.
It's a somewhat disposable live-action computer-enhanced comedy about a scruffy, good-natured border terrier named Reggie, voiced by Will Ferrell, who was abused by his loutish owner, Doug,
Loutish.
played by Ferrell's old SNL castmate Will Forte. Abandoned by Doug in the big city, miles from his home, this naive, optimistic Reggie is befriended by a streetwise and really foul-mouthed Boston Terrier named Bug, and voiced by Jamie Foxx, not Jaime in this case, Jamie. Before anything too horrible happens, Bug kind of intercedes and kind of saves Reggie from going down that dark alley, if you know what I mean. Reggie gets schooled by Bug in the ways of the strays, and the two new comrades team up with two other strays, Maggie, the Australian Shepherd, voiced by Down Under's Isla Fisher, of Wedding Crashers fame,
right. Yeah,
and wife of Sacha Baron Cohen, as a matter of fact. And Hunter, the uptight Great Dane, voiced by Randall Park from Fresh Off the Boat and the Marvel Universe, and also the director of the great recent indie comedy Shortcomings. So his eyes newly opened to the injustices of Doug's treatment of him, Reggie vows to journey back to his home and exact revenge on his cruel master.
Oh. And he's going to bring Bug with him?
Well, all three dogs are going to join him.
I
The
love
other
it.
three dogs agree to accompany him. So Strays, which, by the way, is directed by Josh Greenbaum, who did Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar.
Oh, sure.
And sitcoms like New Girl and Fresh Off the Boat, which is where he probably bonded to Randall Park, like
course.
Jaime bonds with the Scarab, kind of like that. Callback. This becomes a crude homeward bound, right? With calculated bursts of grossness, but there was a surprising sweetness regarding the canines together and the more nurturing and kind-hearted side of human-dog relations. As I suggested, it's got quite a few laughs, but I have to warn you, and I'm going to hammer this, vulgarities abound. There are many F-bombs, many. I heard, by the way...
Well, they put the R rating in the poster. They put it right over Bug's mouth.
And rightly so. I heard, by the way, that the original catchphrase on the poster for the movie was, "You'll believe a dog can curse." Anyway, many dogs curse in Strays. Okay.
Oh.
Wait.
Little friends, the dreams do come true.
Anyway, fuller disclosure, it's filthy. And by filthy, I am speaking of feces and dog genitalia jokes as well as the language. But that said, the voice work from the four main dog actors was nails, and Forte doesn't hold back when embodying Doug's scumminess, and even if it's ultimately forgettable, and it kind of is, I was entertained by Strays, and that counts for something. Like Blue Beetle, it's in theaters this weekend, but if it sounds like your thing, and dog fanciers that might take to it, do a bargain matinee price, or just wait for streaming.
Wow. All right. He liked it.
Yeah.
What else you got for us?
Yeah, let's get a little snootier. You're always saying, oh, he knows the superhero stuff, he knows the foreign stuff.
That's true. You've got the broad breadth of things that you know.
All right. Love Life is a sad but rewarding Japanese drama about Taiko and Jiro, a wife and husband who live with Taiko's 10-year-old son, Kita, in an apartment situated across a courtyard from the building where Jiro's parents live. Oh, that can't be problematic.
It's like Everybody Loves Raymond, but with Asians.
Yeah, not so much.
No?
Not so much.
Okay.
No. So Jiro's father doesn't like Taiko, even though Jiro's mother is friendly to her daughter-in-law. But all of them celebrate little Keita's championship status as a gamer. Unfortunately, a tragedy strikes, which results in the return of Keita's father, Park, who ditched Taiko and Keita some years back. So Park happens to be deaf and what we like to call unhoused these days. And Taiko, desperate to cope with the turn in her life, reaches out to assist her ex, much to the chagrin of the simmering Jiro. Look, watching these people muddle through what might be lightly referred to as an unfortunate turn of events sounds like a bummer. But the screenwriter-director Koji Fukada has made a fascinating and somber behavioral study of love, loyalty, pain, and guilt that is worth a watch. Fumino Kimura is particularly impressive here as the broken but good-hearted and determined Taiko, who is trying to somehow survive in the face of unexpected loss. I thought Love Life was pretty powerful, and again, it's somber and it has a deliberate pace to it, but I found it, as I said, rewarding. It's in theaters now. Art house theaters, I'm sure.
I see.
This is not competing with Blue Beetle for your attention, people.
But you really like this.
I
did. Is this going to make me cry?
It'll choke you up a little bit. It's a little sad.
I'm not gonna cry.
Well, make sure you just don't cry.
All right.
Anyway, so there's that. Let's do some quickies.
So I'm sorry. Once again, it's subtitles.
Yes, of course, in Japanese,
in Japanese
and
that's what I
Korean
meant.
with
Okay.
subtitles. Park is Korean-born.
Got it.
So I want to quickly talk about Operation Napoleon.
Yes, sir.
Because we hear about these foreign films being all snooty art house films. Operation Napoleon is not. It is a standard action thriller, the kind that you would see from English language productions. And it's essentially all about a crazy circumstance at the end of World War II where something hinky was going on, and I guess you'd call it a plan called Operation Napoleon was in effect, and a plane crashes in Iceland, and apparently people have been looking for this plane since the end of World War II because there's something inside that's really going to change the face of geopolitics or something to that effect. So it's an old World War II German fighter plane, and all these people come out to the scene to try to find it, but it's actually in this desolate part of Iceland.
Desolate.
And I'll tell you who else is interested in getting this plane besides a bunch of faceless treasure hunters or weirdos, and that's the director of the CIA, who has been trying to find this Operation Napoleon thing for a very long time. I just had a good time watching it. And, a woman.
Who's the director of the CIA?
The director of the CIA is played by an actor you may recognize.
That's what I
that
thought.
Would be,
I thought maybe I would.
Ian Glenn, who was in Game of Thrones and also played Bruce Wayne in the recent show Titans. That would be Batman.
Mm-hmm.
So the other people aren't as familiar. But a woman, a feisty woman, and her buddy and boyfriend, her brother is lost out amidst the peaks and the glaciers and what have you. So she wants to go out there and find him.
Sure,
before.
she has personal reasons
She does have an agenda. This is pretty much.
There's never been anything like this.
Well, there's been a lot of stuff like this. This is in a bunch of foreign languages and English, so you don't have to constantly be reading subtitles. But you know, it was. I would give it a C+. It was okay. It was fun. It was diverting, and I think watching it on streaming, which is available right now, might be fun.
I see. It's available on streaming as well.
It's a B movie, Operation Napoleon, and I kind of liked it.
Yeah. Wow. A lot here to reflect on. Operation Napoleon, the plane crash with something in the plane. We're not sure what it is.
Those Nazis were up to something.
It's World War II. Could be anything at all.
I can't tell you what it is.
Yeah. But it's big and a lot of people want to find it. It's a C+, is what Michael said.
B-. I mean, I had fun watching it. Sometimes you just want to turn the brain off and watch a little action
Yeah,
and crazy.
sure. We get that.
There are colorful moments, but yeah, it's not great. It's just not completely dismissible.
Love Life is the Korean-Japanese subtitled number that has a complex family relationship. Sounds kind of intriguing.
Sure.
Michael liked it.
I did.
Strays is the Jamie Foxx and Will Ferrell film. It's dogs that talk. And not only do they talk, they cuss almost wall to wall.
Well,
right?
I don't know. I don't want you to bleep me, but that's not that.
What?
Okay. I mean, but they hatch a revenge plan.
Right. The most beleaguered of the four decides to get
Beleaguered
revenge
is a ding word.
on his master.
Yeah. Strays is the name of that one. It's in theaters. Blue Beetle is the DC comic superhero film reconstituted and reborn. And it has a cool Latin flavor that you like.
Spicy.
Spicy. And it's a DC comic inspired world.
And it's better than many of them. It's certainly better than The Flash, which came out earlier this year. You know, Mark, I do want to quickly say on the TV front, I've
Yes,
been
sir.
finally watching the episodes of the new season of Black Mirror, the sci-fi
yes,
show that's
sure.
kind of predicated on the digital world we now live in. And the first one I watched, Joan is Awful. Highly recommend that on Netflix. Black Mirror, Joan is Awful with Annie Murphy of Schitt's Creek, Salma Hayek, and others I don't want to mention because there are surprises involved here. People kind of want to get on the Black Mirror train.
Sure.
And Annie Murphy, she plays a young woman she's sort of a corporate middle management type, and she finds to her shock that her life is being adapted into a TV program, a prestige miniseries, and she has no. That can't
That's
be
a great
real.
premise.
It can't be real. Anyway,
No.
Joan is Awful, and along with USS Callister from a few years back on Black
That's
Mirror.
so terrific.
You got to watch them. That one was with Jesse Plemons and Kristen Milioti. Anyway, just a big thumbs up for Black Mirror. I always love it, and Joan is Awful is great.
If you want to reach Michael specifically on any subject, follow-up questions, whatever, as I've mentioned, it's at Culture Blaster across social media. A great writer. You're doing the Coastal Commuter. I thought you're doing it on a blog. Where are you doing it now?
I'm actually turning it into a bit of a
Podcast?
What would you call it? Kind of a podcast. Yeah. something
Will you
to
keep
that
us
effect.
posted on that? Because we'd love to promote it.
I will. And if you want to check me out on Threads, I'm Mike the Knife 123.
Mike the Knife 123 on Threads.
As I am on Instagram. So
Mike the Knife 123 gets a lot done on both Instagram and Threads.
and
Yes.
you can hear Mark and I talk on a regular basis. If you go to the Facebook Michael Snyder's Culture Blast page, plugs over.
I think it's Mark and me, by the way, not Mark and I. But
Oh yeah, you're probably right.
Anyway,
I think I'm just too afraid of the impending hurricane to think straight.
he comes and goes on a rainbow. Bye-bye, Michael.
Go Giants! We need to win.
We need the win, Giants!
The Mark Thompson Show.
Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell. You'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.